I mean, I don't know where that's coming from. That's really...
You did just sing an Arab war cry into the microphone 5 minutes
Have you ever seen this email here about the Arab Nobel winners versus the Jewish Nobel winners?
Yeah, no. I would never read it.
Does that bother you?
No.
To know that, I'll read you the conclusion here, Joe, and you can respond to it. I know that there are 12 million Jews and they have 192 Nobel Prizes. There's 1.4 billion Arabs, and they have 9 Nobel Prizes.
Okay.
And one of them is for Yasser Arafat.
Right. All right.
Make you feel any way? Which way?
No, we've been busy doing other things, I guess.
Yeah.
We haven't had time.
We need to have Estee respond to the allegations, so to speak, that were made last week.
I really don't have...
Talk in the mic, Estee.
Turn her up. Just turn her up.
No, it's okay. It'll get there. Obviously, I disagree with all of it. And I think it's a sense of entitlement. It's a sense of we are better than everybody else. They are treated with kid gloves. They do have the most spots.
Who, the black comics?
Sherrod and Godfrey.
Sherrod and Godfrey.
They're on every day that they put in for. And they are on not because they're black, because they're good. There is such a bad feelings roaming around right now with people that you would never imagine that spoke up, that they overheard what was said at the table. Go ahead, tell us. I am not going to say names.
Estee,
I'm not going to
come on the radio and say you're not going to say
no,
names.
She doesn't
it's
need to
enough. I don't need to.
Well, describe
people on the other side of this podcast don't need to know names. They need to know that there is an unrest from the wait staff point of view. These guys don't think twice of abusing the wait staff. They don't think twice of not tipping them, and yet demanding service. This is totally out of.
Okay, are you satisfied that I'm not the racist at the table?
This has nothing to do with racism. At this point, I am so upset about it that I agreed to be here, which normally I wouldn't, because this is one big, you know what.
But one big what?
What big what?
It's a self-indulgent whatever, but this is important because any good comic, black, white, female, whoever in town works here. They do. Well, Joe, I am sparing Joe for special occasions. I'm gonna tap into him one day, maybe.
Actually, can I be serious about it? Can I tell you what I think it is?
Yes.
Now, maybe this is something I shouldn't actually say and be upset, and I may have to take it out of the podcast. But I'm going to tell you what I really think.
Look, it must be terribly, terribly difficult, and I say this respectfully, it must be terribly difficult to grow up black in this country.
Don't roll your eyes. I really do think it is, because it's like, you ever, I was telling somebody this today, you put your hand out for a taxi, and a taxi goes right by you.
Wait a minute.
Let me finish.
There are different issues. I'm not going to let you finish because
Estee,
every ethnicity has its...
I will get you to stop.
You know.
The black guys don't let me finish either. So you put up your hand, and it happens to all of it.
It's like how we've been passed over for all those peace prizes.
I think this is the way Jimmy the Greek started this interview.
So, listen.
That's right.
That was Danny, our producer. So if it happens to me or it happens to you, you don't question why they went by. They went by you for whatever reason. If you're black, you don't know, was it because I'm black? Was it not because I'm black? You walk into a store and they're watching you. Was it because I'm black? Was it not because I'm black? I'm talking about good people who are humiliated on a daily basis, basically from the time they're out in the world. And I think that it weighs on them and it gets ingrained in them in a way that in the end, anything that happens to them, they wonder, is it because I'm black? Somebody treats them badly. Do they treat me badly because I'm black? Somebody passes them over. Somebody doesn't give them a part. I think anything that because why else would, if we start with the assumption that clearly anybody knows they're getting the most spots, they're treated the same way as anybody else, how can you account for the fact that all of them feel the same way?
That's not true. That's what I was about to say.
It is true.
There's a lot of black comics that are successful or as successful as Godfrey and Sherrod. Don't feel that way.
Who?
Owen Smith, Will Sylvans,
We have to
Kyle
ask them.
Grooms.
That's
Well,
true.
there's a whole, but at least they don't carry that kind of an attitude.
Well, maybe you're right. Nevertheless,
I listen. It's all in presentation. If I don't feel the sense of entitlement, I don't feel it from Owen. I don't feel it from the other comics. Why do I feel it from Godfrey? Comes and goes as he pleases, does as long as he wants, whether we're happy about it or not. He doesn't care. Asked me to come. I was furious
get
when
her party.
when I heard what went on last week, because none of it is true. None of it makes sense. Godfrey's super talented. He has so much going for him. If he worked at it,
Okay.
change his attitude, and don't take it out on us.
listen, if you're not going to accept my explanation, my Freudian psychological
We all have
insight,
explanations.
What do you-
Every group of people has some kind of identity problems. So why is theirs more than anybody else?
I just told you the reason. Because if you go through life always worried that whatever happens to you because you're black. If you are humiliated daily in situations...
Excuse me. Time out. Godfrey was a star football player in college. He was worshipped
It doesn't
everywhere
matter
he
when
went.
he's getting a taxi, when he goes into a store, they don't know that.
But what?
Okay.
But you're not.
Come on, you're looking for excuses here.
not excusing
Yes,
them.
you are.
You're not addressing what makes them think that
That they're better than
that-
anybody else.
No, but not only that. What makes if a cab passes me, I don't assume that it's because I'm a female.
Because
I don't assume
because cabs do pass by black people because they're black all the time. I've seen it. I remember when I was dating Rosalind, she's black. We were both putting our hands out for a cab, and the cab driver wouldn't
Yeah.
realize we were together. They would drive past her, stop in front of me, and motion to get in the cab, like to get in before
Okay,
she
so
gets in.
let's take the TLC out of this discussion. Getting passed up for a part, getting passed up for a job, getting passed. Why does that why does your mind
well, and
automatically
you
go
heard
to that it's a race
Look,
issue?
if we-
There are
if
a
we-
million other
The
reasons.
stuff that Elon
could
Gold was
happen.
saying last week about Saturday Night Live, he was saying that Lorne Michaels does pass people over because
Okay.
they're black.
And he was also saying they pass people over because this is what Elon was saying because
Exactly.
they're too Jewish. So,
That's right. Last time I looked,
Jews are capable of
One second.
paranoia as well, you know.
Isn't Seth Meyers Jewish? Last time I looked,
Who?
Seth Meyers.
Did you look?
I think he's Jewish, and he's the star of the show. So what Elon said, it doesn't mean that he was right. I mean,
But look, if you take anybody's behavior, there's a reason that anybody behaves the way people behave for a reason. Everybody's behavior is a sum of the environment and the genetic. I don't believe in free will, by the way, so I believe we're all robots, but that's another story. But that's not the point we're making. I really do. I don't believe in free will. I think that if
Wait,
you were
what do you
born
mean
if
you
you
don't
were
believe
born
in-
with Hitler's brain in Hitler's house with Hitler's parents, you would have been Hitler. So anyway,
brilliant.
well, I believe that. I think we're all robots. But that be that as it may,
You're saying if you were Hitler, you'd be Hitler?
if you were Hitler,
Brilliant.
you'd be Hitler. Well, okay. But if you were born with his brain in his house, you'd be him.
And his DNA.
And his DNA, yeah.
If you
Then
want-
you wouldn't be Naturman. You would have been Hitler.
I would
No,
have been
Dan,
Hitler.
Dan, that's not true.
No,
This
well,
is-
I believe it to be true.
This is
That's not
crazy.
true.
Joe is born
That makes
Arabic,
no
and he's perfectly
sense.
nice.
Huh?
That makes no
Exactly.
sense
But the
whatsoever.
point I'm making is
Paul, come
everybody
here.
is who they are for the reason, but that's not the discussion we're having. The discussion we're having is, what is the discussion we're having? I heard from Lenny Marcus,
Yeah.
Right.
and I was a little nervous coming down here because I'm not a confrontational person. I go along to get along as much as possible.
Yeah.
But I heard that Estee also was angry at something that I had said during the podcast. So, but Lenny didn't tell me what it was. Lenny simply said that Estee was unhappy about something that had gone on.
Estee is really bringing this podcast
Okay.
down.
No. Look, you cannot throw things around without
taking
the
responsibility.
bottom. Exactly. And the bottom line is,
Talking to Mike.
I'll never am happy to hear that one comedian throws another comedian's under the bus, or they shouldn't work here, they're not funny, or this is that.
Well, I
Trust
didn't say
me.
that.
Well,
No,
a name came up
a name did come up.
I
No,
thought he
I
said
wasn't
this
on the
about
podcast.
Derosa.
It was at the table afterwards with Keith.
Is it?
He said this about Derosa.
And I really did not care for that. That's what I was
My
upset
wife,
about.
the big mouth, we had lunch with Estee the next day. We were doing the lineups, and she started telling Estee everything that was said at the table. And Estee can't handle the truth. It's like Tom Cruise.
No, Estee is very protective of comedians,
I know.
and if they work here, they are important enough to protect them. And I don't want to hear that one comedian.
Spoke poorly about another one.
Dan is not a
Exactly.
bad mouther by any.
Well, why then bring it up? Why do it? Why question that this
because-
person works and this one doesn't?
I'll tell you why. Unless Dan, because obviously that's what he felt, and because I was having a frank conversation with him, he told me what he thought. He doesn't go
Okay.
around bad mouthing, but in
Yeah.
the conversation, I say, Dan, what do you think? And if
No.
I'm giving him a green light to be honest, so he's honest, right? Is that right?
Yeah.
Dan?
Well, the point
Can you let Dan,
is.
get-
Go ahead.
Yeah, so, well, I guess so. But in any case,
Brilliant.
yeah.
No,
right.
look,
All right, Joe.
I feel very protective about the comedians that work here. I really do. And some people are stronger than others, whatever. However, everybody that works here deserves to work here. And if they have one spot a month, I said deserves to work here.
It's such a weird relationship.
I love him.
I love you guys. I was on the road. Can I tell this really fast? I was on the road this weekend that just passed, and this guy goes, I'm moving to New York. Do you work the Cellar? And I go, no. And he goes, why not? And I go, I don't know. I go, I am friends with the owners and the booker and all the comics, and I know the waitress. I go, it's a very weird thing. And I wasn't complaining. It's just a funny dynamic. I actually believe that you guys have a genuine affection for me.
I do.
And
I do. But one thing has
Estee.
nothing to do with the other.
yeah, I understand that.
Now that she knows that you're actually Arabic, I think your chances
stop
are much
it
better of
already.
getting booked.
Yeah.
Stop.
That's good. Yeah.
Stop.
So anyway, sorry,
Anyway,
I
actually,
cut Estee off with that story. Sorry.
How come you don't do the nasty show?
Because you never booked me for it.
I told Estee to book you for the nasty show.
Here we go.
You told me? You told me?
Yeah, I did tell you. I
No,
said we should.
okay.
Because
I'll do it.
I saw Joe do a nasty show.
He did it here once. 1 week you did.
Are
No,
you
I
a
never did.
nasty
Didn't you?
comic,
No.
Joe? Would you?
He's
would you
not.
describe-
He's not really nasty. Come
he's
on.
nasty.
He can be
No,
nasty.
he's not.
Do the stuff you guys saw me do in Montreal and talk about that stuff.
That's not nasty.
I will.
I mean, it's nasty.
How nasty? Go
I can get
watch
as
Attell to
nasty as these
do a
guys.
nasty.
I think that'd be a good time for an audition. Joe, hit it.
I got
You got
plenty
3
of
minutes of your nastiest stuff.
I got plenty of film.
I mean, we saw your,
All right,
your
it-
sex scene in the movie.
Yes.
I mean, awkward at best.
But not nasty, right?
I don't know that I'd
Okay.
go nasty.
With Jessica, a really hot waitress who used to work here.
Yeah.
All right,
Oh, with
let's
Jessica?
not-
Yeah.
Yeah,
Nice.
yeah, we
Nice.
had a sex scene in the movie together.
How was
All right.
that?
It
Shooting
was,
a sex scene in general. I
It was awkward. It's very awkward. I mean,
that
we had
wasn't
fun.
An especially awkward sex scene. On
We
top
had
of it.
fun. I did. Jessica and I, like before we started, like the pre-production for the movie or whatever. Like I watched this behind-the-scenes the documentary about Taxi Driver, and Jodie Foster talked about how De Niro would invite her for coffee, and she was like, he wouldn't talk to me, and she was like, I didn't understand what he was doing, and then she was like, oh, I realized he just needed to get comfortable with me because we had all these scenes together. So I saw that, and I called Jessica, and I was like, Jessica, we should just start hanging out and like having coffee and drinks or whatever, so we can just feel friendly enough that we can do this scene, because it's like if we don't talk until the day we have to do it, which that would have been it would have been really weird, you know, but we were at least comfortable and friendly enough at that point that we could kind of laugh about it. And
Are
know.
you trying to get me to do a sex scene with you coming up? Because you did ask me to coffee.
no,
So
I asked you asked me to Nuggets, you asked me,
Oh, you're right.
and then you also used the word
Okay.
date. That was
Did
your
I?
word.
Did
I
I?
didn't
Oh,
put that word on
okay,
it.
I'm sorry.
And then I said,
Naturman.
Let's
I'm
get
sorry.
drunk.
I'm sorry.
You're sorry
I
about
don't-
what?
and then you got mad
know,
when I
it's-
said let's drink too. You got
You
got
threw
all
drinks.
sassy. You're like, take it easy. It's like, well, you take it easy.
Gnome's boy.
Anyway, I am bored. I want to say that I.
Sorry. Do you guys want to talk about the inner workings of the club some more? I have a lot to contribute to that.
No.
Israeli politics.
Yeah.
I saw your movie, and I actually thought it was great.
Thank
and then
you,
I
Noah.
saw your 3-man show in Montreal with Bill Burr and Robert Kelly,
Right.
and I thought that was great.
Thank you.
And they had an opening montage, which I thought was verging on brilliance. I thought it was fantastic.
That was a lot of mostly Bobby was yeah.
And it's not that the idea was so brilliant, but the execution, which really is what matters in the end, was unbelievably good.
Yeah.
And I've read some of your book. Can we talk about the book?
Yeah, we can talk about it.
He's got a
yeah.
book coming out on cheating, which I have.
Well, with Bobby and Bill. It's not,
with
yeah,
Bobby and Bill, and I actually have the one of the stories of my life is in that.